Hello and welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be discussing what are the top 5 best dinos to use for beginners in Path of Titans. So I know I did a video on the top 5 best dinos for solo players, but this one is going to be geared more towards beginners or people that just got the game and they don't know what dino to play, because believe it or not, some dinos are much harder to play than others. For example, someone that I think would be tough to play for beginners would be a Sarco. I feel like Sarcos are not really beginner friendly because they do require a lot of questing and good combat or decent combat skills to really hold your own when you're out there by yourself. Not only do you have to deal with a lot of aggressive land dinos, there's also a lot of Sarcos that attack other Sarco players, and you have to deal with that as well. And if you're not good with the aquatic or water combat, then you can really be in trouble. Not to mention, if you're playing on Pandora, the questing on land with a Sarco is pretty much a pain in the ass and can really deter you from the game or playing Sarco overall. Coming in at number 5, we have the Dasp. And the Dasp is like basically a mini T-Rex. It's like a mix between an Aloe and a Rex. He has all the same moves that a T-Rex has. He has the Bone Snap, the Crushing Bite, and the Tyrant Roar. He also has a lightweight hide where you can get extra speed. He has 600 health with 3,500 combat weight. He has 900 sprinting speed, so not as fast as the Aloe, but he does have good speed if you need to chase something or possibly get away from somebody. His Bite attack does 65 damage. The Bone Snap does 60 damage with up to 40-second Bone Break. And then the Crushing Bite does 40 damage with up to 20-second Bone Break. Although the Dasp is not the best and he does need buffs in certain areas, I do think he can be very beginner friendly because of how fast and strong he could be against a mid-tier to smaller dinos. Coming in at number 4, we have the Allosaurus. Allosaurus, I say this in a lot of my videos, the Allosaurus was the first dino I ever played when I got this game, the first one I grew fully on official servers, and the most fun I've had with him in PvP situations. Now remember, this video is the best for beginners, not for solo players, so for the Allo, I do recommend you group up with other dinos or other Allos and travel in packs. It's a lot more fun when you're in packs because these guys are very fast, although their movesets are pretty average. Their speed can come to advantage and you could do really well in groups. The Allo has 700 health with 4,000 combat weight, 1,100 sprinting speed, which is one of the highest sprinting speeds in the game, possibly in the top 5. And like I said, in packs, they are really good. So what you can do is when you pick an Allosaurus, you'll mostly always see other Allosauruses around. It's one of the most popular dinos that people play, especially on official servers, and you could go up to them, go down on the wheel, hit the group up invitation, and then you could have yourself a little Allo army. Coming in at number 3, we have the Anno. And the Anno, I feel like, is a great way to start off if you really want a dinosaur that's good with defense and kind of attacking. It depends on who you're going up against and how smart they are when you go up against an Anno. But with the Anno, he does have the Hunker Down ability, which gives him a lot of damage reduction, and it's really some would consider it OP to where it's actually broken. So the Hunker Down, basically when you crouch in place for 5 seconds, you will grant extreme incoming damage resistance until moving. So that means you barely take little to no damage, and the reason why some consider that OP is because once you're in the Hunker Down ability, you can just turn left to right where you could have, let's say a T-Rex is on top biting you, it will be doing little to no damage while you can just be swinging your tail, bone breaking everybody, and doing damage yourself. The downfall to that though is eventually if they decide to wait you out, eventually your hunger and your thirst will drain where you'll have to move or you'll start losing health anyway. So if you're dealing with a patient predator, he will just wait until you move, because once you get up from the crouching position, your Hunker Down ability is gone and they could just attack you and then you would die fast. So you just have to be careful. But I know a lot of people are going to go in the comments and say that the Anno should be on this list, so I put him in at number 3. But in my personal opinion, I do feel like the Anno is kind of broken in some ways, but that's just me. Coming in at number 2, we have the Stego, and I love the Stego. He is very strong, good tail attacks, good bleed, and just one of my favorites. Stego has 600 health with 5,000 combat weight. He has a bite attack that does 30 damage. He has a tail attack that does 80 damage with 0.25 times bleed. And then he has a charged up tail attack that does 100 damage with 1 times bleed. Against dinos like the Allos or the Dasp, he can really defend himself against a whole pack of them. I've seen 4 Allos jump 1 Stego, and that Stego was doing damage to where they had to retreat because he was about to kill them all. It's crazy how strong his tail attacks really are. Also, one of his abilities is when you stand in place for 5 seconds, you get the pivot. Pivot means when you do precise movement, you can turn really fast left to right. But the good thing about the pivot move ability is when you could turn faster now, which means your tail attacks is perfect for when you're getting jumped by a pack of anything, because they're going to try to circle you and bite you in the face because they obviously don't want to get hit by your tail. But you could turn so fast that when they run, they'll either have to retreat and go around a different way, or you could buy yourself a lot of time. And then coming in at number 1 in this list, this is probably more because of personal reasons. Because I love using the bars, I think he's one of the best for PvP, especially defense PvP. And no one really messes with you when you play him because he is so big. He has the most health out of every other dino. He has 1,500 health. That's more health than the T-Rex, who has 1,000 health. He's 7,000 pounds. He has a headbutt that does 55 damage. He has a tail slam that does 75 damage. And he has a defense call that does up to 1.5 times extra armor. Unless you run into like some predators, they'll kill you when you're a baby. But other than that though, like once you get to like sub-adult size, you're gonna be pretty big. People are really going to think twice before messing with you because, especially if you do a double defense bars, you're going to be able to tank a lot of hits and do a lot of damage. And the only way for them to kill you is if they jump you. But 1v1s, if you know how to fight with him, you could win mostly all your 1v1s. Just remember, this is a list for beginner players, not for solo players. So all these dinos, some of them are better in packs than they are solo. But if you guys want to keep up to date with more Path of Titans content, news, and all that stuff, make sure you guys subscribe. Hit that thumbs up because it does help out the channel and the video. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.